Thank you for tuning in to Mind Your Business, M.Y.B Talk Radio, the radio business talk show that talks all about business. Call in and leave your comment, 1-877-704-1010 or 410-481-1010, or listen live on WOLBsBaltimore.com. You can follow us on Twitter under M.Y.B Talk Radio. Like us on Facebook. Please hit that like button, folks. And under Mothership Productions, Let's Talk Business on LinkedIn. Today, this program is brought to you by Maryland Property Tax Associates. Maryland Property Tax Associates appeals property taxes for residential and commercial property owners for purposes of reducing their property taxes. They have many vital and very important and convenient services: abate liens, examine deeds and mortgages, redeem property from tax sales, and much, much more. You can go to their website, which is www.propertytaxassoc.com. That's propertytaxassoc.com. Or you can call them directly at 410-878-0767. So if you can't seem to afford a home, and for you and yours are in your need of some stability, please contact Maryland Property Tax Associates, the one-stop shop for all of your property tax. Speaking on property tax settlement, fraud, documents, lien abatements, and much more. And Mr. Davis owns the property tax business, and as I said, his quote is the one-stop shop for all your tax need or your property tax needs. So we'll get into that soon. But like I said, how are you guys doing today? I'm glad for you all to come in. Thank you for joining us.
It's fine.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you're able to make it in, Mr. Rita. I'm glad to see you also.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here.
Wonderful. And before I get into things, I would like to... thank you very much. Now, I know you and your wife, Sarita, did paralegal work in 2009, but how long have you been in the property tax and real estate?
Well, we've been in the real estate industry for about 10 years, and we later stepped off into property tax appeals, which is what we pretty much specialize in, separate from all the other services that we render.
Okay, I appreciate that. And were you ever a real estate agent? Did you start with that first?
No, I started with a title company, and the title company covered all of the areas and other services as an agent or a real estate firm would cover. And this is where I really got my start.
With the title company?
With the title company, I was with them for 5 years.
Okay. Did you enjoy that process?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So you were able to get a lot of experience?
Yes, a lot of experience, yes.
That's
yes.
wonderful. And your services, like I said, they're very crucial and naturally to the property consumer. I would like to try to first go down the list of some of your services, and if you could give us a full description of those, no matter how many they are, and what is the process, the benefits, the troubles that you've run into, or maybe some of the cases that you have seen that have come your way, and we'll go into the good and bad in a moment.
First of all, I like to stress that property tax appeals are crucial, where we may have a lot of property tax owners, residential and commercial, that may have mortgages on their properties and they're underwater not knowing, or if they do know, they can have their property taxes reduced to reduce their mortgage payments. And usually this is a 6-month process, and is something that will benefit the property owner. This is also an area that our property owners for Baltimore City need to focus on, because right now it's a crucial...
So your focus is mostly on Baltimore. Have you had big dealings with outside of Baltimore, D.C., metropolitan area?
Yes, I have, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is one of my aspirations, to cover outside the state of Maryland, nationally. Because this is something most often, as I said, property owners are not aware of how to go about to execute this proceeding, and whether or not they need to hire someone to do this for them. They need to be informed. Absolutely,
and I'm glad that you are here to inform us, because like you said, a lot of people do not know and are lost and confused, and there's some things that they need to have answered, and I'm just glad that you're able to provide this. Let's go into, like I said, some of your services I found in your information on your website also. So let's start first with avoid tax sales, resolve property tax and property tax appeals. Can you tell me something about those services?
Well, tax sales take on a combination of different issues. Number one, when the property may incur liens such as high grass, or there's sites that your city may cite you with and give you a fine, those liens can be abated if you feel as though that site that was given to you by your city inspective agency, you can challenge that. And to challenge that is what you call an abatement. That abatement is through your city board of estimates, and normally that takes about 90 days. And this is something else that is a government business. It's not a business for individuals that they could just jump right into. So you definitely need to have someone to introduce you to that process and to go through that process to be able to protect your property, because otherwise those same liens can cause your property to be put in tax sale, where your city government can auction your property for that lien, such as we have had.
And same thing with reduced property taxes. Can you explain that process a little bit to us without giving too much, I guess?
Sure. Reducing property taxes involves appealing the property tax value. Once the property tax value has been reduced, those numbers are used to reduce your mortgage by submitting a modification. Once you submit your modification, which will be based on the value, the reduced value of your property, but then all your other numbers will change. That too, we would have to make an appointment.
Before I go any further, guys, I want you all to call in 1-877-704-1010 or 410-481-1010. As I said, you can listen live on WOLB's Baltimore.com. I just wanted to, make sure you all have any questions. If you have any questions, call in. Mr. David Davis is here for you to answer those questions. Any questions you had on mortgages, on deeds, questions for your sales. Maybe yours has gone up for auction, and you're a little scared now because that might be taken from you. So call in, guys. And as I said, this is also brought to you by
City put the property in tax sale, auction it off. Auction it off is a process where, as you know, we have people that purchase a lien on your property, and they have 2 years to foreclose on that lien. Within that 2 years, you have to redeem. If not, the lien holder can foreclose, and after the court forecloses on your property, you no longer have ownership, and they can do whatever they want with the property.
That is just, that's a heartbreak. So many things that we go through, and so many, we save our money. We try to clear our credit as much as possible to get these loans, and so many things we have to go through and process to even get a property and own a home for ourselves, our families. And then when we're put into that situation, no matter, from whatever situation financially, and then it gets taken away. That's a heartbreak. Before we go any further, I would like to take this caller. Her name is Gloria. Gloria, we appreciate you calling. Can you hear me, Gloria?
Yeah,
All right, doing all right. Thank you. Good afternoon. What's your question today? Oh, even further. Okay, so first of all, thank you for calling in, and we'll talk to you next Monday, okay? Listen up for that number now. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Gloria. I appreciate it. Let me give you that number. It's 410-961-0734. I appreciate you calling. Thank you so much. Hold on one second here. What's your question, Lee? Good afternoon. Thank you for calling in.
It's 2 years you have to redeem a property once it goes in a tax sale. After the 2 years, you may not be able to redeem, providing if the court hasn't decreed that property to the lien holder.
Thank you so much, Lee. We'll talk to you next Monday. Okay, and we have Robert also on hold. Robert, thanks for holding on. Thank you for your patience and calling in. Can you hear me, Robert? Good afternoon. Thank you for calling in. What's your question?
Okay, standard, a contract of sale is good for 30 days. So if the sale didn't go to close after 30 days, you still should have been notified. But on the flip side, still the contract that you signed could have been extended to a further date.
Okay. Let me give you that number. I'll let you go. Thank you for calling in. If you got more questions, you can always call back, or you can call back next Monday. I appreciate your call, Robert. Thank you. Listen out for that number. Okay, guys, once again, that number is 410-961-0734 or 443-641-6353. Once again, 443-641-6353 or 410-961-0734. Sorry, and that website that you can go to is www.propertytaxassociate.com. That's propertytaxassociate.com, where you can call direct. And as I said, they deal with many different crucial, important services: abate liens, examine deeds and mortgages, redeem property tax liens. Is it better to purchase out of state? Is there a difference between local or out of state? Can you answer that for me?
It's best to purchase tax liens in the state where you reside, so you can oversee and protect the property, your interest in the property.
I understand that. That's definitely the truth. You always want to watch your property from damages and people coming and messing up the property. What is one of the largest tax liens that you have seen for purchase?
$385,000.
Really?
And usually a lien that high, it's a carryover for several years of liens on that property.
How long? What was the longest of years? Of the amount of years that you've had to see.
About 8 years of liens. Yes, but usually property
And much more. And for more information, you can go to their website at www.propertytaxassociate.com. That's propertytaxassociate.com. Or you can call them direct at 443-641-6353 or 410-961-0734. So if you guys are out there and you all are feeling pretty unstable about your property, you have some questions, some important, even if it's one little question you think might be stupid, nothing is ever too stupid when it comes time to your property and your investments and your family's stability. And they are the one-stop shop for your tax needs. So please call them as soon as possible. Once again, 443-641-6353. And don't forget to check out the show's website at www.MYBTalkRadio.com. I want to thank you guys for coming in, Mr. David and Miss Davis. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You guys, thanks for calling in. I appreciate your time. You can always call in again, 1-877-704-1010. Check us out online on www.MYBTalkRadio.com. Before I go, I got to let you know there's no business like your own business. This is Miss Robin-Annette signing off on Radio 1's WOLB 1010 AM in Baltimore.